Hello, mystery writers. I'm Zara Altair, and this is Mystery Fix, where we talk about mystery writing and all the challenges we have as authors. And today I want to talk about action. Action in your mystery. It's really easy to get lost in setting up your clues and getting your suspects lined up and forget about action. But, there's mystery tropes like the corpse and the evidence hunt and sweating the perp and the summation. And they're all elements of your mystery that readers expect. But what action scenes do is help build tension, and a well-written action scene pulls your reader into the story. We always want those readers in the story. So don't overlook action scenes as a way to add dimension and empathy to your story, because action scenes have a place in all the various mystery subgenres. So you may think because you're not writing a police procedural that you don't need action, but it really helps bring your readers in to the story. And it's not necessarily a fight scene. So you can enhance even the coziest cozy mystery when your heroine is eavesdropping behind the commemorative statue in the town square. You can put all the tenets of action scenes into her being behind that statue. So let's look at some of the basics of how action scenes work. You would probably think of action scenes as car chases and fight scenes and escaping the villain on the London Tube, but action scenes are any time your sleuth has a physical moment. So just like that cozy heroine hiding behind the statue, there are many ways where you can bring action into your story and get your reader sort of physically involved with what your character is going through. So, and they can be written in a variety of styles. So the first step for you, especially for beginning writers and even really established writers, is to read authors who write good action scenes to get a feel of how they are written and in differing styles, because the style is going to be important. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So The Right Life has a few authors you can read for really great action writing: Mario Puzo, Lee Child, Karen Slaughter, John Connolly, Dean Meyer, Patricia Cornwall, Elmore Leonard, Louis L'Amour, Larry McMurdy, Robert B. Parker. And so they all have written novels full of bad characters doing bad things and lots of action. So what are some of the basics of getting an action scene that really works in your mystery? You want to write in the style of your story. So if you love Elmore Leonard and love how he writes action and you want to imitate his style, but it's not the style that you use to write your story, don't do it. It needs to be, your action scene needs to be in the same style as the rest of the story. Otherwise, your reader's going to be, what happened? I jerked out of the story, and you never, ever, ever, ever want your reader jerked out of the story. The whole reason you're writing an action scene is to pull your reader into that tense moment. Okay, so write in your own style. And then when you're writing the action scene, you want to concentrate on the pace. So you can slow down and speed up. So you want to slow down the pace to guide your reader through the action. So you're going to describe, let's use that cozy heroine again. She's like, here's something as she kind of tiptoes up to the statue because she doesn't want to be seen. So does she hold on to the statue for support? Is she leaning her head? Is she putting her hand up to get to hear better? All these little actions slow down the pace so you can enumerate the actions that your character goes through. So you can also, for instance, if you're in a fight scene, don't just describe the blows, tell the reader how your protagonist responds. Does his jaw hurt? Does he pull his head back? Does he lose his balance? You don't want to do straight blow by blow of punches and counter blocks. That's not enough. So every time something happens to your character, you want to also have what their response is. Describe those physical reactions. So describing the fight in this way makes it immediate to your reader and gives them the feeling of speeding up the action, even though you're slowing it down in an action by action account. They're into this happened and then this happened and oh, this happened. So go through it step by step as your character responds. It's a really important part. It isn't just a blow and then another blow, or and a car chase turning a corner and skidding. It's how your character responds physically. So the other important point is you're going to minimize feelings. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight or you've ever been in a really tense situation. You are not thinking about your feelings. So they come later. They come after all the action has happened. But at the time of the action, the sleuth's priority is winning the fight, getting out of there, catching the bad guy, getting to the next bend in the road without trashing the vehicle, all of those things. She's not thinking about her friend, how her friend Norman is doing right now. So save those feelings for the time after the fight. During the fight, it's physical responses, but not emotional responses. I hope that helps you understand how the action scene works. And the other important thing about action scene, which is important for every single scene in your novel, is the action scene must move the story forward. At the end of that scene, something must have changed in the story. So don't just plunk in an action scene because you think there should be one there. Your sleuth either gets closer to the perp or loses the round, but there has to be some kind of a reason for that action scene to be in there. And it has to fit into the story, leading your reader to wonder what comes next. So when the action scene is over, you still want your reader to turn those pages. So make sure your action scene fits into your overall story. Otherwise, your reader's going to wonder why it's happening. Why is this action scene here? Why is there a car chase? Why is there a fight? And as I said before, anytime a reader stops being in your story to wonder or think, you've lost them. And so the action scene must advance the story. It's just true for all scenes in your story. And another pointer is be realistic. So even if you're writing a sci-fi mystery, you need to be realistic within your story. So a heroine who has no training about action or fighting is not going to win a fight with 3 trained assassins. It's just not going to happen. So a lot of writing good action scenes has to do with doing your research. If your hero is in a car chase, watch some simulations or play video games to get a feel of how quickly you really must react in a fast-moving car. Because things can spin out of control very quickly, and that is where you're, as you're writing, action by action by action, and you're slowing it down, it actually feels faster for your reader. So without spinning out of control. And then if you're writing fight scene, learn some basic fighting movements like the difference between a thrust and an undercut, and learn how a side kick is different than a knee to the groin. Just learn some basics. It's a punch, okay? And do the moves. There are so many writers who, if you saw them in their writing room or their living room or outside, they're going through all these moves, and it's because they want the feel of what the action is like. And so, because the more you understand the movements, the better you can make them come alive for your reader. So I don't know, it may seem really strange to be, alone in your home somewhere, in your office, writing, and all of a sudden you're up and you're going through movements and you're jumping and kicking and punching, and it's okay. It's how you get that kinetic sensation that you want to describe to your reader. So action scenes are a really great way to enliven your mystery, and creating clues and suspects is part of the puzzle of writing the mystery, but you can enliven your story with well-placed action scenes. So keep all these basics in mind, and you may find action scenes are actually fun to write. And best of all, they keep your reader turning pages. Okay, so thank you. And I just want to announce that next week I'm on vacation. So there's no Mystery Fix next week, but I'll be back the week after. And if you live in the United States, hope you have a great Thanksgiving holiday. And I will see you soon. As always, if you have any questions, if you have any trouble, you're trying action scenes for the first time, don't hesitate to get in touch. All right. Thank you very much, and happy writing.